on the ground in sensitive locations. So clearly, we raised our alert level immediately after the bombing, but we're back down now to where we were before the events in Boston.
Okay, now let me ask you about the events in Boston. Former Attorney General McCasey wrote a piece in the Wall Street Journal today, and many others agree with him, saying that based on his opinion and what we know, this is nothing less than a type of jihad attack. Would you agree with him?
Oh, yes. Yes, I see this as a ongoing pattern. We've seen these radicalized young men do or try to do similar things. We've had 16 plots here against the city, many of them involving young disaffected men who are committed to killing Americans. So, yeah, I certainly agree with Michael Mulcahy.
And is this, do you find, Commissioner, because I know you're constantly looking out for it, and do you find that this is something that's remaining constant, that is on the increase, that's waning? Where do we stand with this kind of threat?
Yeah, we see the threat as remaining relatively constant. We don't see it waning, and we don't see it necessarily increasing. What we do see is a shift from the sort of organized top-down direction that we saw early on after 9/11 from Al-Qaeda to a more free-form, do-what-you-can approach, where individuals will get, in essence, radicalized on the internet. They usually have someone who is a sanctioner that either leads them along or mentors them. Now, we had two of our intelligence analysts, Mitch Silver and Auburn Bott. They did a study in 2007. It was really an outstanding piece of work, and it sort of puts a template over the radicalization process, where you see these what they call unremarkable people, unremarkable young men who go into 4 phases of jihadization, which is the final one, where they sort of do this self-identity. They're looking for a place in the world. They're looking for meaning, looking for a cause. Then they get indoctrinated. They can get indoctrinated by reading materials, by getting this sanctioner to lead them on, to instruct them, and then they decide to commit jihad. And after that decision is made, they can act pretty quickly.
All right, a couple more questions. I know you got to go. There's a lot of evidence that these bombers, they had clothes, they had cash, they had these weapons, they had to make them, they had to build them. Notwithstanding the fact that the mayor of Boston said these people acted alone, there's no more threat. We've heard reports of the FBI pursuing others. They have 2 people in custody on immigration violations that might have been connected. Do you think that these people had help here? People who are in this country, in Boston or somewhere else by now, but physically on the ground in the U.S.?
I think that is probably still an open question. I mean, the initial indication is that that's not the case, but 2 people are in custody who sort of helped their cause after they knew that they had committed the bombing. And I'd like to have a little more time go by before we make a final determination of that. But I think the initial indication is that they did it on their own.
Fair enough. One final question. We got news about an hour and a half ago of a thwarted plot, an Al-Qaeda-linked plot in Canada, which targeted passenger trains. 2 people arrested, according to the Canadian police. Again, does that, I guess you're always with New York being such a transportation hub, and all the transportation systems we have, with the planes and the trains and the buses and the cars and the taxis. I mean, that's always got to be unsettling when you hear it, but probably, I would assume, no surprise to you.
No, we certainly have been following this case for a while. But one thing that we did in 2005, and we continue, we just had a meeting this month, is something called the Amtrak Coalition. We have the police agencies involved in Amtrak in the northeastern part of the country. They come together here. We have almost daily communication. So I think the protection, if you will, on the railroad lines in the country is probably as good as it's ever been. No guarantees there either, but we're certainly working in a coordinated fashion and communicating. We have something else called Operation Century. We have 140 police agencies working together in the northeast quadrant of the country. So there's a lot more communication, a lot more cooperation, and a lot of it is focused on the rail lines.
But you knew about this plot for how long? You said the Canadian
for a significant period of time.
Okay, so okay, I know you got to go. Commissioner, thank you so much, sir.
Okay, Steve, good to be with you.
Take care.
Take care.
Commissioner Ray Kelly, ladies and gentlemen. We got him off right on time. I think 5 seconds past my allotted time. But always good to talk to Commissioner Ray Kelly, who is a fantastic police commissioner and who, above and beyond keeping and helping to spearhead the people and the programs and the police units that have kept us safe in New York City so wonderfully since 9/11 and thwarted so many attacks since 9/11. He's also instituted and